Okay, let's talk normally here. It's getting really weird. Welcome to the Positive Podcast, where we talk about positive stuff. Sorry, I don't know why I'm channeling Matthew McConaughey today for some reason, dude. But yeah, we've got positive stuff. We've got mindset, parenting, and personal finance. And we've got Chelsea Bedard's favorite book of all time.
You're not wrong. I love this book so much.
I know, it was your pick. And you know what? I will say I did like this pick because it was pretty quick to read. So that's definitely a time hack for me. Yeah. But what book is it, Chelsea? What book?
So The Secret by Rhonda Byrne.
Never heard of it.
Lies. Not only do I love this book, but when I am feeling a certain way, I'll even throw it on Netflix. There's a really good documentary.
True. Yeah. Like this book came out, what, in the 90s? It's like...
I don't know about that.
Okay. No?
I think it's the 2000s.
Is it the 2000s?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It's been out for a long time, though, right? Like, it's been out for 20 years. The Secret,
think I
right?
read that.
Like, The Secret's been out for 20 years,
No, The Secret's
right?
been around since, like, forever.
True.
Like the 1800s.
True.
But I think I read it in 2008.
2008. Rhonda Byrne.
Rhonda Byrne, first year
Byrne.
dental hygiene school. I read this. I was like, oh, I've been doing my life wrong for years, for 20 years.
No, I think you still had The Secret going in dental hygiene. You were manifesting the Crest Wall of Fame for many people, I think. Were you not? I think so.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. But this book, lots of great like speakers, tons of people. My favorite part of the book, there was a Canadian.
A little technical buzz in the background. Okay. Not sure what that was.
His name's John Assaraf. So he's from...
He's Canadian?
Yeah, he's Canadian. He's from Montreal. He was a kid that got into a ton of riffraff, and he ended up meeting this mentor, and he said, get into real estate. But you have to move to Toronto. I don't care that you have no money. Like, those are excuses. Get your butt to Toronto, and I'm going to teach you everything I know. And he applied The Secret without even knowing that he was applying The Secret, and literally his world changed. I don't know if I like him so much because he's Canadian, but it's just like, it speaks to me. So in the book, he quotes, the simplest way for me to look at the law of attraction is I look at myself as a magnet, and I know what a magnet will attract.
I like that. You know, like, what is The Secret? Like, if we were to dumb it down really, really simple, what is The Secret? Like, what is it? What's The Secret?
Being mindful of your thoughts, choosing the better thought, being mindful of your language. Also, like, kind of similar to vision boards, but having a vision for your life. Yeah,
it's kind of like attracts like. Your thoughts manifest into the universe. Like, The Secret is you can't touch it, taste it, see it, smell it. But whatever you're thinking about, you're going to attract in your life. That's kind of what The Secret is about, right? It's saying, like, so put out the positive words, the positive vibes, and, you know, like a vision board. I got a vision board downstairs at the office that I did when I was in my early 20s. And I remember I wrote down $1 million check. I wrote down, like, fancy cars, and I wrote down apartment buildings. And I remember looking at that all the time, thinking to myself, I want all this stuff. Right? I think that's what The Secret is.
And honestly, I've looked at that vision board and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, so many things you've accomplished. It's amazing. It's super inspiring.
Well, I think it works, right? What I think where The Secret gets some kind of shit sometimes is people call it hokey sometimes. Like, I've heard people say, oh, The Secret's hokey. Like, you're just going to, you know, lock yourself into a room and say, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I think... because I love The Secret too, but I think the difference is that The Secret does work and it does manifest if you're doing the work. You can't just sit there and do nothing.
You can't just do affirmations all day long.
No, you can't do affirmations about saying, like, I'm going to be fit and I'm going to be fit and I'm going to be fit. You got to say, I'm going to be fit and still go to the gym.
Absolutely. I also they give like a breakdown of how the steps where you like apply The Secret. So step 1 is you're just going to like ask the universe. And I think that's, in layman's terms, like, you're setting an intention.
You're setting a goal.
You're setting a goal. You're setting an intention of what you want to happen. And then you're going to believe it. Step 2 is just believe that it's going to happen. Okay. Now, this is where I have an issue because I want everything to happen in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But you have to believe and trust the process. And then step 3 is you have to be open to receiving, because sometimes opportunities come your way. They'll smack you in the face and you don't even know. that they're there. So you have to be really open to these opportunities.
And it's true. And I think when you know what you're looking for, because like you said, you know, when you're putting that out to the universe, it's setting the intention and the goal. Like I remember I had done this before. I'd done this years ago, and I ended up saying to my coach, I said, I want to have a national company. I thought like, I want to have a national company. It's really, really important to me. And I thought that was, you know, the be all end all. It was my goal. I put that out to the universe, and time went by. I kept doing the work, kept doing the things. I show up every day and do the work. And then all of a sudden, one relationship showed up in my life from out west, and it didn't show up how I thought it would. And it wasn't even the same business in which I thought it was, right? But it did show up. And had I not been looking for it, I probably would have missed that opportunity, right? Because I remember saying that to my coach, be like, oh, this guy John showed up in my life, and ABC in business. And he's like, you know how you had this intention for a national business? He goes, it looks like this is how it's showing up.
That's amazing. So incredible.
So...
Now, because you're the money guy.
Money guy. All right.
What did you think about the chapter on The Secret, applying it to wealth and money?
Oh, I love it. I think it's very, very important, because I think in our careers, in mortgages, we see a lot of people that have debt, right? We see a lot of people that have debt. And I think that you get what you ask for in a weird way. Like I think whatever you focus on flows to you. And I think a lot of people focus on debt. They focus on trying to pay off the debt. They say, I want to get rid of the debt. I don't want to be in debt anymore. But the more time you're focusing on debt, you're actually kind of like bringing it back to yourself. And this reminds me of when I was looking to get mortgage free and when I was looking to get debt free, I would always end up saying to myself, okay, got to pay down debt, got to pay down debt, got to pay down debt. And then what would happen after a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks? I go spend a ton of money, right? And I'd go right back into debt because I felt guilty, or I felt bad, or I felt entitled. And it would be this roller coaster. So I think with The Secret, it's almost like you don't focus on the debt. You don't focus on being in debt. You focus on, how do I create wealth? How do I create abundance? How do I create money? How do I create income streams? How can I enjoy myself making more money?
And I think another part to that too is feeling grateful for what you have along like the journey and the process. Just keeping that in the forefront, because that's the quickest way to feel good. And then with The Secret, you have to feel good for it to work.
I agree. And I think gratitude, like we've practiced gratitude for ages. I know we talk about it at the office all the time. And some people are like, yeah, gratitude, meh. But meh, I'm already grateful. But the reality is, when you come down to gratitude, like I feel extremely lucky, blessed, and grateful because people bring lots of different business opportunities my way. And I think they do that. And a lot of opportunities come my way because I'm in a good mood. I'm easy to bring something to. When someone ends up bringing something to me, they're like, oh, Brian's not going to like shit on it. He's not going to make it bad. He's going to actually maybe jump on it, maybe do something with it. But the better mood that you're in, you're going to attract more opportunities.
Absolutely.
Right? Kind of like with hair ties. Plug for hair ties.
Thank you. Another thing that you and I have chatted about this, Bob Proctor in the book calls it secret shifters. So when you're feeling low or down, what can you do to bring yourself back up to make sure the secret's still working? So he says, if you're feeling bad, you can change it in an instant. Change your state, such as putting on a beautiful piece of music or think of someone you truly love. Block everything else except that mind and your thought. And I feel like for me, I know I can get there with like just calming myself down, taking a shower or a bath or whatever, reading a book. What are your secret shifters?
Definitely running, working out. Sometimes I'll stop and do push-ups. It sounds really weird, but it's a change of state, right? Like, because you can do it with alcohol, you can do it with smoking, you can do it with food, right? And I used to do it with all of those, sometimes at the same time. Just shoving everything in at the same time. Yeah, smoking, drinking, and eating all at the same time.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it used to be, but it has long-term effects. And I think what I've shifted that to is, for me, it's movement, it's motion, right? I find it, and I think music is a great one too for me. You know, I'm a big skid and I love like, you know, Korn, and I love really heavy stuff, and that it does shift me, right? But I think the one thing that they say in the book too, which I loved, is that you can't be in a bad mood thinking good thoughts. Right? Like you can't be in a bad mood if you're practicing gratitude, like, really try hard to be pissed off and grateful at the same time.
It doesn't work.
It just doesn't work. Right. So, and I think, and it's, if you want to have those feelings, being pissed off, you're entitled to it, but why not be grateful and why not feel in a better mood? I don't know. That's my thought process on it.
Yeah, I agree. How do you apply the secret with Lila?
I whisper it into her ear every night before she goes to bed. Be grateful. I just have little mantras for Lila, right? Like I always like to end up saying different things to her all the time. Like I always tell her readers are leaders. Sounds really silly, but I like that because I want to encourage her to read. I always end up saying, hey, if you fall down, what do? She says, I get back up, right? And I think it's like, she probably means it like, not metaphorically, but like literally right now, if she falls down on the playground, she's going to get back up. But I just mean, I hope that stays with her for life, in the sense that if she falls down, friends make fun of her, teachers say something shatters her confidence, she's going to get back up, right?
Teaching resiliency.
Yes.
Love
I really
that.
want to. And the other thing I'm really big on is I always end up putting in her brain, what's the most beautiful thing about you? And she says, my brain. I'm like, you're damn right, it's your brain, right? Just because I think like that is something I really want to instill. What do you do for Isaac and his mindset?
Well, for some reason, my kid's super confident, but I would say sometimes he does get low on himself, like when it comes to school. So I definitely like work on his mindset every day before we leave.
Every day?
Every day. You're a winner. Like, you got this. He needs reminders because he will be Dennis the Menace at school. So I say, like, pretend I'm sitting beside you, or pretend Dad's sitting beside you. Like, what would you do? Also, I told him that he has a role in the family. He has a job, and his job is to, you know, be a good boy at school, just like Mom and Dad have jobs. So I try to set little, you know, messages and say things to him every day. And also, like, have a winning attitude. Kind of like when you go out and play football or jujitsu, you want to win. It feels good when you win. So try to win the day.
I love that. You know what? I wonder why do we lose that? Because like, I think it makes tremendous amount of sense to say that to your boy, to your kid, to your son or daughter. Why wouldn't you say that to your friends, to your coworkers, to your spouse, to everybody, right? Because it feels like you just saying that, I feel like I would love a little pep talk in the morning sometimes, you know? Like, I feel like I think that's a great way to start the day for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Or to yourself, right?
True enough.
Say those kind of things to yourself.
Yeah, true enough. True enough. You know, I like that. That's awesome. So when it comes down to anything that you really resonate with the secret, or anything that you do every single day, or something that you practice with it?
Similar to you, I have a vision board, and I do it every late December. But also, yeah, like I do have affirmations, and I do trust that it's always going to work out. I say certain things, and I know it's probably not going to happen within the 2 minutes, like I said, but I do feel like they're on its way, and just be grateful for them. Mm-hmm. I remember once upon a time, you told us that we were going to have Mission 35 Jeeps. And I remember driving to work in my Honda Civic that was like super beat up from 2009. And I was just like literally pretending I was driving this like cute Jeep Wrangler with like the Mission 35. And I'm proud to work here, right? So I was like super excited to have it with your logo on it. But I remember driving to work pretending I was in that Jeep.
I love it. Very cool.
And it happened.
Yeah. I like that. You know what? And I think that's something that, like, I remember not manifesting, but like when I wanted a new house or a new cottage, I always used to go look at new homes, and I always used to test drive cars because I love cars. And I remember growing up, I had the crappiest cars in the world. I remember having like the 86 Cavalier with the doors falling off. And I remember leaving Auto Traders on my parents' like kitchen table to be like, with one circled, being like, "Ooh, this is a good one.
No.
This is a good one." Totally. And my dad would be like, "Sure is," you know? So then I remember when I first started working, I would just go out. I remember with one time my friend Sean Todd, first name, last name, Sean Todd. I love him. We went out and test drove cars, and it was my very first car. Like the fun one I got was a Nissan 350Z, and it was like a little sporty thing. We test drove it, and I couldn't afford it. I couldn't buy it or anything like that, but just the feeling. And I was like, I know that I'm going to be able to get that feeling later. And I think it's really important to do the things that you want to do to get the feeling that you want to get. Right. And I think that's one way to do it.
And this quote isn't in The Secret, but you and I have talked about this before. The secret to having it all is knowing that you do.
True.
You can have that feeling again, right?
Very true.
You can recreate that good feeling.
Right on. Well, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, was this positive enough for you? This is pretty positive today.
It was super positive.
Oh my God. Oh my.
Not creepy.
The secret. That's why we're whispering. Yeah, if you guys have any other book recommendations or what not to read, tell me what not to read, because I'd like to save time as well too. That would be great. And thanks for listening, and make this a fabulous day.